You're tuned in to TV Talk, The Big Bang Theory. Welcome to TV Talk, America's #1 TV talk show network. And now it's time for TV Talk, The Big Bang Theory.
You know, I've spent the last few months molding this lump of clay into a conduit for my will.
Nary a chance, my friend.
Okay, you know, who even uses the word nary anymore?
You know who does? I do, Aussie Steve, and so does Leonard. We're discussing the Table Polarization from February 27th, 2014. Welcome to the Big Bang Theory TV Talk podcast.
I'm the Shadow. Welcome back, Big Bangers. I thought it was Sheldon that used the word nary, and Leonard was kind of making fun of it too.
No, didn't Leonard say it?
Maybe it was Penny. Let's give Penny the credit.
I don't think Penny would say that.
Well, but she didn't do well in her audition, so we got to give her the credit. It's all Penny's thing.
This is true. I like that Penny walked in today and, I was just an audition, and they all go, mumble, mumble, mumble. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, you'll get the next one. Like it was a given.
Yeah.
Would happen. And they just assumed she failed. Of course she did, but at least that was the only Penny plot we got advancing tonight.
That's true. So,
but it was great.
How the heck is she paying her bills then if she still hasn't gotten any kind of an acting job yet? I mean, is Leonard her sugar daddy or something? I mean, what's going on here?
This is true. Since she must have saved up a little bit at the Cheesecake Factory. They will address that soon, I'm sure.
Oh.
But look, we're missing the headline here.
I just had to ask.
You know what the headline is?
What's that?
It's all about the moustache.
Oh, yes.
Guys, we've had a couple of weeks off, and it was so funny to come back with a great opening teaser, the moustache.
It's a funny thing.
Yeah, it was really a lot of funny stuff at the beginning. The jokes were really spot on tonight. I thought there were some really good jokes tonight.
I agree, man. This was a great episode. I was laughing. I'm like, there's a lot to talk about.
Yes, and I like when they, go to the core of the group, the table versus couch debate. This has always been, the couch is their cheers. It's their Monk's Diner. It's their central perk. They don't really have a place they go all the time. The comic book store is not a regular feature. The couch is where they go.
It really is.
The couch has expanded. We used to have just the two of them with Penny, and Raj and Wolowitz weren't there the whole time. Then it became a 5-person thing. Now it's a 7-person thing. And then Raj is always on the floor, and then Penny sat on the floor today.
Yeah.
So the discussion of the table come up. We're growing as a family, as a unit. People change, things differ. We add members. You need to learn to grow to a table. So I thought this was a great plot.
I agree. And it was funny because at first I'm thinking like, all right, so we got this whole table idea. And then I'm thinking like, there's always been a desk in that corner. They've always had a computer over there. I mean, it changed from some kind of a PC to a Mac at one point, and then now it's back to the whole Windows 98, old school machine. But I've never, it's funny when they say that here's a set, like you said, it's their Cheers set. They're all around the couch. But they've had that part of the set that's always been there, never been back there. No one's ever used it, and they finally addressed it. I thought that was great. So it was finally a good thing.
This happens on a lot of shows. You'll notice there was a door in The Office. If you ever watched the US version of The Office, near the accounting, and for 197 episodes, that door was just there. We never knew what it was.
Yes.
We know that Pam and Jib had sex in that door.
That's right.
And then
a little closet.
The third last episode, they revealed that it's actually a storage room for all the cameras for the documentary crew.
That's funny. See, and you never saw that. You're like, what is it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, this window area where they've put the table, we've been there before. Sheldon used his telescope there, and there was a subplot. If we ever did an award ceremony, I would give this worst plot ever on Big Bang Theory.
The bird one?
The bird one.
Yeah.
When they jumped the shark with the bird, I thought, oh my God, this is really bad territory. Yeah. Sheldon and the bird. That's my least favorite plot of the entire series. It just stands out as, oh my God, they did a Sheldon bird thing. That's wrong. Wrong on so many levels. But besides those two, they really haven't used that area of the apartment.
That's true.
And like you said, it's great. I love how Sheldon is so resistant to change that just the thought of the table, he decides to go use his Windows 98 computer, and he's basically filibustering the area. He's just going to stay in that area and keep talking so Leonard can't get what he wants, bringing up some great Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy references.
Oh, yeah. Classic.
That was fun.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was good stuff. That plot, I think, was well done, the way that they did it. The way that it started off just with, it was the entire group, but then it ended up being just Leonard and Penny and Sheldon. And then, of course, bringing Amy into this whole thing about how, first of all, it was Penny's changed Leonard. And then the whole thing about how Amy's changed Sheldon. And what? And as soon as he said that, I went, oh, he's going to go break up with her. And then he's like, I got to go break up with her. And then all that. I'm like, yeah, that's it. And then I actually expected it to follow through, though. I did not expect Amy to come back with the manipulation aspect.
Can I tell you, this episode had so much bait and switch, diversion. You know, just where you think you're going left, you're going right. And then you're zigzagging back again. This is what I loved about this episode was it turns out that this table plot was not really about the table plot. It was just a way to get to a shamey plot, to get to Sheldon realizing that he's changed through Amy. Mm-hmm. And then Amy manipulates him and brings it back to the table again.
Oh, man.
Let me tell you, The Simpsons, big time fan. They have 22 minutes to do story, but they will do a 6-minute fun story at the beginning, which has nothing to do with anything. And then it kind of turns into the real story. Mm-hmm. I want to take you back to season 2, Brush with Greatness. It's an episode of The Simpsons. The kids want to go to Mount Splashmore. Will you take us to Mount Splashmore? Will you take us to Mount Splashmore? And you think the whole episode's going to be about water park, but turns out Homer gets stuck in a pipe on H2. Whoa, the big water slide.
Yeah.
And he realizes he wanted to lose weight. So he goes upstairs to the attic to get his dumbbells and he finds a portrait that Marge did of Ringo Starr. And the whole episode turns into Marge becoming a painter again. It had nothing to do with the first 5-6 minutes. That was just a crazy way to have some fun at the beginning of the episode and get Homer to go upstairs and discover these paintings. That's what I felt this one was like. This table thing was just a ruse, a sham, a flim-flam, just to get us to discover that Sheldon needs to break up with Amy. Yeah. And it was really great.
Man, I love it. That's what I loved about this one too, is that a lot of times it's predictable. A comedy in general usually is turn your brain off and just have fun. But this one actually kept you going. Like, what's going next? What's coming up? Is this really going to happen or not? And yeah, I mean, the whole time I'm going, wow. Like you said, bait and switch, man. That was great.
It is a formula. That is why I'm so good at writing television, because I know the formula, because I've seen so many episodes of so many shows. And today they kind of flipped the formula. Awesome. What was great was that Penny informed Amy of what was going on. We, the audience, knew that Amy was going to be prepared for this breakup. Just like Sheldon said, it's the chaos theory.
Yeah.
Leonard buys a table equals Sheldon breaks up with Amy.
Yep.
So Amy had time to prepare what she was going to do when Sheldon came over, and she played it perfectly.
And as brilliant as Sheldon is, his common sense skills obviously are very bad. You know, he kept asking, well, is this what you're trying to do? You're manipulating me? I think you'd be smart enough to get that. And I'm laughing like, okay, there you go. We finally see Sheldon's weakness. I mean, we've seen it, but it's finally admitted now.
Sheldon's weakness is definitely his ego. And when you suck up to him and tell him how brilliant he is, he'll let you get away with anything.
Oh, yeah.
So basically, Amy avoided the breakup by saying it was all just manipulation so Leonard could get his table. You know what? You don't need to live with Leonard anymore. You should move in with me.
Keep the table.
Yeah, it's all yours.
Got cocky. That was funny.
Damn it. I got cocky, she says. No, I thought that whole plot was great. You know, what's funny is to me, didn't Amy actually sign the roommate breakup agreement?
She did. That's why I was wondering, like, did they really break up or not?
Well, they said they didn't. I thought it would be a good idea if she signed it, then he says, no, wait, we got to get back together. And so Amy says, well, we need to do a new roommate agreement. Yeah. This one has finished. So here are my deal points for the new relationship agreement. I keep calling it the roommate agreement. I would have liked to have seen a new relationship agreement, but I think this was a good way of addressing the issues from the last episode where Amy and Sheldon finally kissed, but not making it the centerpiece of this episode.
Yeah.
And kind of just, we've addressed it. We know, I guess Sheldon's accepted it. You know, it's nice to have Amy on Team Sheldon, so he's going to keep her around for future arguments because he's always going to have someone in his corner. You've got 7 characters, so Raj is kind of there to break the tie.
Yeah.
And then the whole thing came full circle because by the end of the episode, there was Sheldon manipulating the gang to basically giving up the table.
I was so mad. I'm like, guys, you're weak. You caved in. That's so lame, man. I mean, like, Sheldon needs to lose sometimes. But he did kind of in the sense of that he lost with Amy, technically.
Yes, Amy was the big winner of this week's episode.
But I was like, oh, come on, guys, don't cave into that. But I'm not surprised.
I was very impressed to see that the table was there at the end of the episode. I thought, oh my God, they're actually going to keep this table.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, sitcoms start and end and nothing changes.
Yeah, it's true.
I thought maybe we would have a table. But no, it looks like Sheldon got his way. They moved down. The table will not be there next week.
Well, I want to know, what about even keeping the table and then just doing some really awkward things with it? So it's like one of those things where it's always there. It's that elephant in the room kind of thing, you know? And then they're going, oh, we never used that thing. Why do we do that? Why don't we get our money back? I mean, you know, they could do some really funny stuff with that by leaving it there too. But it'll probably be gone just so they
I
move
don't
back.
think we're going to see that table again. The table, RIP table.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
A good guest star.
So do you like the whole table idea or not?
There's two thoughts to this. If I was one of those characters, I'd probably rather just sit around the couch because I don't want to grow up and be an adult sitting at the table. As a viewer and sitcom writer myself, I like the table. I think it's growth. Yeah. It would have been a welcome addition to the show to continue with the table and see what happens. But if you want to sit around a table, we'll go to Howard and Bernadette's place for dinner. We've seen their table. We're getting to see Howard and Bernadette's apartment more, which leads us to a nice segue for the other plot of this episode. Yeah. Which was, first of all, Raj and Howard playing with their magic wand, his second favorite brown magic stick.
Oh, man. That was good stuff. I was really glad to see the two of them back together doing a plot again because, you know, they haven't been just the two of them in a long time.
And the boys are back in town.
Yeah, I loved it. And then bringing the whole space idea back.
Yeah, it's nice to see the bromance between Raj and Howard continue. It was good that it wasn't Bernadette like, no, I don't want you to go. It's like, I don't want you to have a bad time. Don't you remember how much you actually hated space? You love the achievement.
Yeah.
I listen to a lot of writer podcasts and people always ask, do you enjoy writing? Do you like actually writing scripts? And 9 out of 10 times the answer is no. I don't like writing. It's hard. It's tough. Once the script is done, it's brilliant. I'm so happy I wrote it and everything's great. But the process, not much fun.
Sure.
Once you've been to space, it's great. But once you've peed your pants, vomited, swallowed your own vomit, thrown it up again, been up to space, nicknamed Fruit Loop, not as much fun as actually just coming back and saying, I did it. I did it.
You know, and I'm with you on that one too, because I figured at first that Bernie was going to kind of shut down the whole idea. But you're right. It did go, once again, it took a different direction than I expected in saying that it's not that she didn't like the idea, it's that she knew that Howard didn't like the idea deep down. Yeah. And I like that because then it was actually coming back to the whole idea of Howard, what do you really want? Which again surprised me. So it was nice. It was good.
And of course, Bernie wanted Raj to talk to him. But Raj said, no, I'm the fun one. You're the buzzkill.
Yeah.
And they basically ended up having an intervention. Mr. Rosankowski was there and they had the astronaut on Skype.
Mr. Fruit Loop.
At which point they flashed rather quickly to the hospital. He realized they were right and he didn't want to go to space and he was looking for any excuse to get his blood pressure high. So how do you get your blood pressure high? You call your mother.
Yeah, that was funny. Good to hear her again. You know, it's been a long time since we've actually heard her or seen her on well, of course, never seen her, but heard her on the show. So yeah, it was funny though, because I got to thinking, oh yeah, this will do it. But no, it was good. You know what it reminded me of though?
What's that?
Fifth Element. If you've seen that movie.
Oh, I'm not a fan.
I know, but do you remember when Corbin's mom is calling and saying, you don't ever talk to me anymore and blah, blah, blah. And you leave me for, nothing. I'm just going to go throw myself in traffic. She's pulling the whole thing. I was like, yeah, that's a tribute. Or,
can I tell you the only thing that the Fifth Element left an impression, which is great.
The blue opera singer.
Every Halloween, I go to Santa Monica Boulevard and there's a Halloween parade and people are dressed up in costumes. And every year I see a Mila Jovovich character in that white masking tape outfit.
Yep.
I see the girls in those white masking tape outfit. And that is why I thank the Fifth Element, just for that white costume.
I think it's funny. But it's that same kind of mom thing where you never see the mom, but she's on the phone yelling at her. And I thought, oh man, that was a classic one right there.
It's started off with Vera on Cheers.
Yeah.
Actually, before that, it was Lorenzo the doorman on Rhoda, spin-off to Mary Tyler Moore.
And then it was my friend and his mom.
Yes,
oh,
really?
Wait. No, sorry. Yeah, I've got a friend. Got a friend that's like Howard.
I thought you were talking about my mother, the car.
No, I'm talking about an actual friend.
Way back. And then, of course, it was Maris on Frasier.
Yeah.
Niles. No, we always heard about Maris, but we never saw Maris. So I want to tell you that I was watching the episode. Sheldon announces he's going to break up with Amy. And I go to the commercial and it's been 13 minutes. And I'm like, we've done 13. I've only got like 15 left. I want more. Mm-hmm. So often I'm watching sitcoms and I pause it or I, start fast forwarding the commercials and I go, oh, you mean we're only 6 minutes in? I have to watch 24 more minutes of this?
Yeah.
Example, I was watching New Girl. And there's just so much going on. And I pause and I'm like, what? I'm only 6 minutes in? Oh no, there's too much more to watch. But Big Bang Theory, I get to the 13-minute mark and I'm like, what? We've already done 13. I'm only halfway through. I want more.
Yeah.
The only other show that I recall doing that on is Modern Family. I watch Modern Family and I'm like halfway through. I'm like, what? We're already halfway through? Oh, I'm not going to get enough. But this is what's great about the Big Bang Theory. I'm halfway through the episode and I still want more.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that I noticed them doing, and this is not a comedy show, but no, I noticed them doing that with Arrow. Mm-hmm. Is that you get about 13 to 15 minutes into the show, then they go to commercial and you're like, oh my gosh. But that's an hour show, but still you're going, oh, there's only so much 30 minutes left or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's phenomenal when they do that because if we got a commercial right away. So you're saying you didn't.
Well, I'm just saying the second commercial. We always get a commercial.
Oh, okay.
After the opening credits, I just skip to the next one.
Sure.
But it was at the turning point of this episode.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh my God, we're halfway through. Are we going to have enough time to wrap this up?
Yeah.
And this was two simple stories.
They really were.
Leonard wants a couch. Howard wants to go back to space. And that's the simplest of story ideas. How it affects every character. It shows you how well the writers know their characters. We're 7 seasons in.
Yeah.
That you can just this is what was so great about Everybody Loves Raymond. In Everybody Loves Raymond, you'd have one plot. The Table would have been one plot. You wouldn't have had a side plot on Raymond.
Mm-hmm.
You would have had 22 minutes of those family members talking about a table. Look, they did an episode about a can opener.
Yeah.
And they did an episode about a piece of luggage. For 22 minutes, they do an episode about a piece of luggage. That was almost what this episode was.
Yeah.
Simple plot, executed excellently.
I did like that they jumped back and forth, but I liked that they kept it to 2 plots this time too. Because, we've jumped from 3 to 4 at times.
Yeah,
and I think that's almost chaotic.
Extra plot. Yeah. There was a whole chunk at the beginning where we didn't see Amy, but that more than made up for it when we saw her in the second half of the show. I
was actually wondering if we were going to see her at all, but then again, it goes back to our conversation last time about how they're contracted to be there regardless, even if it's just a quick scene. So
yeah, I mean, she was there at the very beginning when they were in the teaser. They were all eating food and talking about moustaches, and then we didn't see her until we needed to. I know how you love to talk about Sheldon's shirts in this episode.
Yeah.
I noticed Howard had a nice belt buckle. He had his Batman belt buckle on.
Nice.
This episode.
I do like that one.
Penny had an interesting shirt on this week. I'm always checking out Penny, but they were in IKEA and she was wearing this shirt with these 2 horses. I was just paying attention to these horses, which were sort of just pointing in the direction of her chest. It was weird to me. It was am I meant to be drawn to your bosom because there are horses and possibly butterflies on that shirt? Did you notice that?
I didn't know.
Oh, you married man. You don't look anymore. Single man, go back and watch that episode. Watch that scene again. Tell me what you think.
So, all right, I got to go back to the table, though. I was thinking, when they were looking at the table and stuff like that, I got to thinking, why would you want a table when you've got a nice, comfortable couch? I mean, think about it. When you sit at most tables, it's those stylish wooden chairs that are horrible for ergonomics, and they don't feel good. And I mean, I'm tall and bony, right? So tall and thin, man. And you sit in that, there's no padding. You start to hurt after a little while. You don't want to sit at tables for very long. Why? Now, I've been at tables, though, where you've got this big plush chairs, or the executive chairs if you're at conference tables. I could sit there for days, man. But I got to thinking about that. I'm like, why would you do that when you have the comfort of the couch? Except for Raj, of course. He's got the floor.
I get it. You want to play adult. We're all a bunch of kids. Yeah. We're all a bunch of nerds. We're eating our takeout food. We're watching Firefly. We're reading our Batman comics. For half an hour, 45 minutes, it's nice to sit at the table and play grown up. But then you want to get back to the couch. They're not going to sit at the table and have conversation over wine all night. They're going to have their dinner there. Then they're going to go and play video games or connect or whatever.
No, I'm for that. It's usually you get stuck at the table for the whole night.
Yeah, that usually happens just at the Thanksgiving episode or whatnot.
Well, true. So that goes to our question then. What do you think about the whole table or no table thing? Do you like it? Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, there's a feedback button on your app. Let us know what you thought. Actually, last week we asked you guys about Raj and Yvette the Vet.
Yes.
If you thought that was a good couple. And we had a couple people write in. Eric from Oregon and Mike and Mary from Maryland. They both were very pro Yvette the Vet.
Yes, very much. Big time. Much, much, much more than Lucy.
Yes, Mike was saying that he understands the owner and dog relationship because he's got a couple of dogs, and that I only too can hope that we see Yvette in the future. I don't know. I've been reading a few articles and they've been talking about other love interests for Raj. I don't know if they can get the actress back again.
Oh, I know.
What's happening, but we'll find out soon enough.
I wanted to play this. I thought Eric's response was hilarious, so just check it out.
Eric in Redmond, Oregon. Do I like Raj and Yvette the Vet together? My answer is an emphatic yes.
Yes. Yes. I love that enthusiasm. Thank you. But no, you mentioned something about Mike was talking about how he's married, so he's no longer desperate like Raj. Is that what he said? Something like that?
Yes, he was talking about...
Nice job, Mike.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I do hope that we can see Yvette again, and you're right. I'm not sure if we will. I was kind of wondering that too, if that's just a one-time thing or if she'll make an appearance later.
We'll find out. Yeah. Next week's episode...
Looks amazing.
Next week. Yes, it's called The Friendship Turbulence. And basically, we talk about Wolowitz and Raj being buddies. Well, Wolowitz and Sheldon have never really been the best of friends. They kind of just tolerate each other. And next week, Wolowitz invites Sheldon to travel to Houston with him in an attempt to improve their friendship.
Yeah.
But after the insults fly, it's up to Bernie to try and broker peace between the two of them. Meanwhile, Penny is offered an embarrassing movie role, and Raj asks Amy to write to a woman on his behalf. So I wonder who this woman is that Amy's writing to. Is it Yvette the Vet? I don't know. But Penny's offered an embarrassing movie role. This is good. We're getting progress in her career to be an actress.
Is it the Gorilla Shower Part 2 or Revenge of the Gorilla?
Yes. Gorillas in the Shower Mist.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
I like that. Gorillas. Yeah. See, this is why you're the writer.
Thank you. So that's going to be a good episode next week. But actually, if you're hankering to get some Jim Parsons in your life, check out Saturday Night Live. He's going to be on Saturday Night Live this Saturday.
Nice. Hey, I found out David Letterman's got Simon Helberg on, and I think that actually was tonight. But
yes,
he's doing an interview.
He does his Nicolas Cage impression on that episode of Letterman. But
two things.
Jim's going to be on SNL, so there's bound to be some Big Bang reference. I wonder if Galecki does a guest star, or one of the other cast members also goes to New York to do a guest spot. So we'll definitely check out Jim Parsons on Saturday Night Live this Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to check out the replay of Helberg because I didn't obviously get to watch it live doing this, but I want to hear what that goes because it looks funny.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
So, we're up for some good stuff coming up.
Absolutely. And of course, we're always on Facebook and Twitter, facebook.com/TV Talk, and Twitter is @TV Talk. Don't forget to get in touch with our personal Twitters if you'd like. Mine is @TheShadow514, 514.
I'm Stephen B29.
So we'll see you next week for the Friendship Turbulence. That's March 6th. I better get out of here, though, because I've got about 1,000 Windows 98 updates I'm trying to get done.
Catch you next time, Shadow. Bazinga!
Bazinga!
And now it's time for this week's Talkback Clips.